Hello. I don't think it's like super better. I'm like, this webcam? I swear, I want to talk about how all my technology things are so annoying me because this is a weird angle, by the way. So I decided to use my little webcam to, hi. Can't see him. Act like you can see him. I can see him. You're going to see me. Okay. So I got this idea. The new webcams are plug and play and they'll plug in. So I just plug this one into my laptop and it's a little bit better than the webcam on my laptop, but it's still a weird webcam. Like when you put your hand near it, well, actually, it kind of focuses better than on not my laptop, but on the big tower because right now it's plugged into the laptop. The thing about that big tower that just annoys me is I thought, oh, like I paid more money to upgrade to a better computer in August. And because my original tower had broken and I couldn't really edit videos on it any longer. So I don't know. I just feel like that computer's dead. And I'm not the kind of person that likes to return things. But basically, it has Wi Fi, but its Wi Fi is so unstable that anytime I've tried to stream with that computer, it's a very unstable connection. But yet, my laptop's just fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with my laptop. I wonder if the tower would be better if it were plugged in, but I don't know, like, how much better. Hi, how you doing? I mean, this is kind of weird too, because this is kind of a strange little angle here. Let's see. I feel like this looks kind of 3D. Like, I feel like it's a GoPro kind of situation. It's interesting, but I feel like it's a little bit better. I was going to make falafel tonight. So I went to the store and I couldn't find tahini again. I'm like, oh, I went to Sprouts. You would think they'd have tahini at Sprouts, but Sprouts completely rearranged itself, or they rearranged it. Although, what did I buy at Sprouts? I did buy something at Sprouts that I really wanted to share that I thought was cool. Um, what was it? I think it was mostly just like vegan option things. Like I bought cucumbers and I bought some red bell pepper and I bought, well, it's kind of cool. It's almond cashew butter. I haven't been to Sprouts in so long. I'm like, I used to go there all the time, but it's just been a bit, like about a year. How has it been a year since I went to Sprouts? So I used to love their beauty section too. And I realized they don't even carry like the 100% USDA organic henna. But I have to show you something. What did I find? What did I find? I have to show you this. And like this, I never got around to using it yesterday because it's such an involved operation. But I found like this big thing of henna on Amazon, the light mounted one. Let's see, how does it focus? It's okay. So I still feel like annoyed with all the technology things because I feel like the focus should be a little bit better for everything, right? When you spend that much money on a webcam, I just feel like it should be better. That is my opinion. Now it looks worse. Okay. Maybe it just needs to focus itself. It needs more light, I think. Maybe if I turn on some more lights. So I have like options. I can always use my phone if I want to live stream. But that's not always a useful option because when you decide to live stream with your phone, you have to make sure it's fully charged, or you'd have to plug it in. And the thing about the phone is it could be on the tripod, and then it'd be a good angle. But ideally, I would like to have like a streaming camera that I could do live streaming with that would be clear as crystal. I think I just have had a lot of annoyance with technology because here's the thing, like a lot of people that have like these channels that are exploding, like millions of subscribers, they have these really high-tech cameras, and that's great if you can have like $1,000 to just start on a live streaming camera and like a setup. But I honestly just don't feel like that's realistic. I have to pay bills. I don't just have thousands of dollars lying around that I can just buy all the high end equipment with, you know? And I feel like that intimidates a lot of people. And I feel like a lot of people think, unless they look like there's some professional production, that they shouldn't be on the internet and that they shouldn't live stream and that they shouldn't create videos. But I just don't agree with that. I'm not going to stop creating videos just because what? I'm not part of the technology elite because I can't afford this high end camera. Like, no. Like, that's great if you can afford those things. I think it's wonderful, but I'm I'm just gonna keep creating content. And I like to live stream. And a lot of people are like, but it looks pixelated. And I was throwing around this idea yesterday, like, oh, like I should have, like, if my subscribers like wanted to like sponsor me to buy a camera, but that doesn't make any sense. Like, I need to buy my own camera, and that's not gonna happen anyway. Like, I know, because hey, if you like the camera I have, that's cool. I'm not saying this is the best camera on the entire planet. It's probably better actually with the phone. This one's kind of funny. It's a little bit better than the laptop, maybe. Maybe. It's a weird angle though. I find technology so funny though. So unless you have like thousands of dollars to just drop to always buy the most high-end thing, it's just hard to compete. And then everybody wants to compete. And I don't like to play that game. Like, I feel like you can compete with the technology you can afford. And I just watched a video because I'm like, huh, like, should I think about trying to get like one of those vlogging cameras that looks clear that you can use for streaming? And this one guy he was very out of touch. He's like, oh, there's some people that have more subscribers than me and their cameras are worse than mine. I'm thinking, well, maybe they can't afford, just because of, like, yeah, even if you have like 1 million subscribers, you might not be making bank. Not everybody makes bank with like YouTube ads unless they have some sort of like sponsorship. And it also depends on the kind of content you create, because certain types of content are more, well, profitable than other types of content. So we can't really say. But I feel like there's just a lot of like elitism when it comes to technology and like the kind of cameras people are supposed to have, and this snobbery about it. And also this type A, like I go against the type A film content creation. That's why I know I say a lot of things like lately, like, oh, I can't always like make an edited video. Well, I do make edited videos sometimes, but I don't because I feel like it's like the type A people, they want to control the conversation. Like, they want to control the content, and they want people to feel like unless they have this super high-end camera, unless they have X amount of time to edit videos that looks a certain way, that they shouldn't be in this game and only they should be in this game. And I'm thinking, it doesn't make any sense. I know a lot of people want to watch videos that look like movies, but I think a lot of people actually are online and they resonate with people that don't look like they make movies. And that's not what YouTube started out as originally. And I refuse to buy into that mindset, and it's not sustainable. Because I've been thinking a lot about that lately. Like, there's some people, they made these real high-end looking like YouTube videos and they looked like movie productions. And then a year later, they're not making videos anymore. Why? It wasn't sustainable. Like, all that energy and all that time, and they may have millions of subscribers even, but they're just gone. Like they're not on the internet anymore. So to me, then it just seems like a flash in the pan kind of thing. Like some things are just always like a flash in the pan. Like people do it like when it's hot, and they have to have the best technology and they have to have the best editing tools. And I'm not trying to get down on those things, but I think we just need to not always let those things dictate to us. So I'm still going to do cooking live streams. And if somebody says, oh, it's not perfectly clear and it looks a little pixelated, I mean, yeah, I would like my camera to look a little bit more clear too, but I'm not going to punish myself and ban myself from the internet and keep myself from creating content that's fun and enjoyable because I feel like I have to emulate what these people are doing. No, let them just be the type A. I'm not a type A content creator. If I'm going to be type A, it's with my artwork. I'm going to be type A with like creating artwork that makes my heart sing. But I'm not going to be type A with creating content for YouTube. You know, I'll make an edited video here and there, but I will not push myself to the brink point and back just to make my video on YouTube look a certain way. And I think we just need to chastise this way of thinking because it's the kind of thought process where people, they delete any post. It doesn't look perfect. It doesn't have more than like 1,000 likes. It doesn't have more than like 1 million views. Like there are literally people these days they're like deleting something just because it didn't do well enough. The performance wasn't well enough. I mean, the type A people, they can be type A for themselves, but don't let them control the conversation because I feel like it is a form. It's okay to be type A. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. That's why I'm ignoring you. So anyhow, it's okay to be type A if you want, but just don't like project it on other people. Like if you want to be type A, you go off, you be type A doing whatever you want. But nope, I have no desire to be a type A content creator. I'm just going to keep creating the kind of content that speaks to me. And I think the difference will be, I don't know, this trash bag guy, I think I'm just about ready to put him in timeout. Let's see. I'm putting you in timeout. So anyhow, yeah, that's another thing. I think we let people that are kind of, they want to also like come onto videos and they want to have an agenda. Some people are like, but if you're on the internet, you should be open to any kind of comment. No. Like it's not for you, like to just say whatever you want or to pretend like you are a certain like person and be deceptive and catfishing like or whatever it is. I don't want to know anything about the catfishers or people that like try to make it seem like, oh, I'm so good, like, and then they say weird things. So those are all my thoughts and feelings on content creation. Yeah, so I'll make an edited video here and there, like I always say, but I kind of take relish in not making edited videos and making kind of the pixelated content. Like, I love that. I don't know. I sort of love something when other people don't. Like, I might want my camera to be better, but like I said, I'm not going to punish myself and banish myself from the internet just because I can't afford like a $10,000 camera, And I'm not going to fixate on I kind of want to go against the super edited content too, because I think this perfectionism, this type A mindset, like in putting out certain kinds of videos, is keeping people from having good communication. Like they panic, like they're like, some people, they can't even be a streamer because they're so afraid, like if they go on a stream, like they might say something that doesn't look, I don't know, like it's not cultivated a certain way. It's not fashioned a certain way. It's almost like they're such a brand that they stopped being a person. Like I know they're always talking about work on your brand. What is your brand? Like when it comes to your social media presence. And there's nothing wrong with that, especially if you're a business. I totally understand having a brand. But there was one reason I never wanted to be locked into that mindset of what is your brand, because my content has evolved a lot. When I look at how I first started this channel years ago, I just used to make short videos about art or cooking and things like that, and it's evolved a little bit more. And then I started the hair channel because I realized people like that content. But the type of content that I make for the hair channel these days are just things that I enjoy. Like I share, like I brush my hair and I talk about life. I like that. Or I do a hairstyle. I like that. Those are really the only things that I really have to say about hair, because I'm not like somebody that has a lot of tutorial ideas on hair. Like basically everything I say every day is wash. Like for me, what works for me, like for somebody with wavy hair, is you wash your hair once a week. I recommend shampoo. I recommend a double wash. I need to have a lot of leave-in conditioner to help detangle my hair. I could never just wash my hair with only shampoo. Like I have to rehydrate it. I do like to do a double cleanse to get, like when it comes to shampooing, like to get all that. So those are the only things I really have to say about hair. I think protective styles can help you grow your hair long. Those are just my thoughts on hair. But I don't have like a lot of like advice on hair. I just know what works for me with hair. So for my hair channel, that's what I have to say. So I like to share styles I do and thoughts that are in my mind. When it comes to cooking, like lately, I do want to get back into doing some art videos. I was going to do those on my day off, but I didn't get around to it. But like when I do the cooking videos, I kind of just like to share a recipe that I'm making and how it's working and how it's going. And I just kind of think, yeah, it's a fun outlet to just kind of share these things and to like talk and express yourself. And I don't even know why I give credence to type A film content. I think it's just because people are always talking about, oh, these edited videos where they create this kind of storyline and they do this and it's scripted. And I know a lot of people, they have a script that they write for a video, but I don't think everything has to be scripted. I used to have a joke actually, like, do you want life scripted for you? Because I knew some people actually, I think kind of like my dad's one of them. Like if people didn't say certain things a certain way, like he would get incensed. And I'm like, do you want people to write a script for you? Does everything have to be scripted in life? I just sometimes that's just my reaction to like this whole like need, this fixation on everything being really scripted. I don't get it. Like it's not for me. So I think maybe I can use this webcam for the cooking videos. Maybe it's a little bit better. It's a little bit more clear. I mean, I could use my iPhone, but I still want to do live streams. I just don't see the point of buying an $800 camera. I'm not going to buy another camera right now. I'm going to use the cameras I have because, hey, I'm not like a high roller in society where I can just buy any object I want. Like I have bills. I'm a normal person. I'm somebody that has a budget. I'm not one of these people that can just blow X, Y, and Z amount of money on a studio and this and that and that. Like a lot of people, they just have the money for those things. And that's good. But there is a little bit of an elitism when people think, oh, everybody should be going that way, or that all content needs to look that way. So I feel like maybe I talk a lot about these things on my channel, but I'm all about, let's let everybody who just has iPhones and regular webcams take over YouTube and just make the content that they want. And that's how YouTube started out. Like back in the beginning, people just used the cameras they had. And so what now? Like there's a few people that are filmmakers, or they have a background in filmmaking, or they have unlimited funds. Okay, people don't usually have unlimited funds, but they have more funds than we do to buy whatever camera they want in X amount of time, or they can hire a staff to edit. Like a lot of people forget. Like, okay, for example, I want to talk about this. This is stuff that's on my mind. Okay, so there's another nice like cooking channel that's coming out of China, which is really nice. Like it's a very sweet little channel. It's about a Chinese man who's married to an African woman, and it's very sweet and it's very nice, but it's a little problematic because I don't know if people remember. Okay, But a few years ago, there was another Chinese woman that did like this countryside type video where she was cooking and making these wonderful recipes and showing life in the country. But it was just so like highly edited and scripted. It looked like a movie production, okay? And then eventually she disappeared and she was on the internet. But as a lot of people who have like a Chinese background or know something about China, they said, regular people in China can't even use YouTube. Okay, it's banned, it's blocked to them. They're not even they might be able to use VPN and get on there, but a regular person in the countryside of China isn't going to just go online and make a video like that or make a channel like that. So just like with TikTok to some degree, like, yeah, I know we all use TikTok, but at the end of the day, TikTok it is partially controlled by the Chinese government. That's the truth. It's TikTok. And yeah, TikTok might be fun to use, but that's one of the reasons a lot of people don't like it. It is a spy app, and there are things about it that are very creepy crawly. Like it knew something, like it knew a career I used to be in. It knew I used to like be a teacher and I didn't like it. I never told TikTok that, okay? But I got a lot of videos because I was just like, ugh, classroom management. I didn't like that. Or I had talked to somebody else who used to be a teacher and they said they hated that you had to do so much extra work beyond your contract hours. And that wasn't ever something that I typed into TikTok or said to anybody on TikTok, but I had, texted somebody about that once, like 3 years ago. And then TikTok was showing me all these videos about people who left the teaching profession because they found it stressful and they found that it was very time consuming. And how would TikTok know that was something that had ever been in my background unless it kind of snoops on your phone? Like, yes, it is a spy app to some degree. That's the truth about TikTok. So yeah, I still use it, but I can see why some people have reservations about it. I mean, it is kind of creepy, like the technological advances on TikTok and the ways that it can be so addictive and how people keep scrolling on it. And I know YouTube has tried to compete with the YouTube Shorts. So that all harkens back to, well, China and Saudi Arabia and even the US do things to improve their PR image. Back in the day, people used to hire advertising firms to do those things. Well, guess what? Like, do people watch like network TV anymore, really? Or are the kids, the young people, the young up and coming people, are they on social media? Like, are people that are 23 gonna like go home and watch the evening news on network TV? Most of them are not. Most of them are gonna go on TikTok, okay, or on Instagram. I think TikTok's more the up and coming one. So different countries, or YouTube even. So different countries, when they want to improve like their PR image, they will put out certain content. Now, Saudi Arabia has been known to do this too. Like they hired influencers to come to music festivals to try and rehabilitate their image, like showing like, because actually there are parts of Saudi Arabia that are really beautiful. Like it has a very beautiful culture. I'm not talking about like the modern incantation in their government, just like Iran has a very beautiful culture. I'm not talking about like the more repressive government, like, because can you separate government from culture? Okay, so like they both have really beautiful cultures. And actually Jeddah is quite a progressive city, like it always has been, and it actually has become more so. And they've had music festivals and they've hired influencers to go to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, to document like visiting Saudi Arabia, because up until recently Saudi Arabia wasn't a country that people would go and visit. Some expats would go and teach English in Saudi, but they wouldn't go on vacations. But now they're like they want to compete with like Dubai and the UAE. So China kind of does the same thing where they have created channels that make it look like, oh, there's this woman living in the countryside and like she has this beautiful life and it's all so put together. So there's another couple, and I don't know. I've been trying to find information on this and I can't find anything that vets that. Like I can't say like for certain if this is true, but knowing that YouTube is not accessible to most people in the Chinese countryside, and knowing most people in the Chinese countryside wouldn't have like the technology, like access to technological devices to make the type of videos that these people are making. Like there's this couple that are just making these really beautiful cooking videos, and they almost look cinematic. And I mean, it looks like a production crew comes in to film these videos. And sometimes it's a PR thing too, because well, for example, a lot of expats that were like of African descent or African American descent that went to China had very bad experiences. I'm not saying all Chinese people are like this, but it has been well documented that there's a lot of racism in China towards African people. Like that's a well-known thing. Like people have talked about it. And there's a couple of YouTubers who lived in China for a while that were pretty savvy about the political situation of the government and whatnot, and how the the Communist Party treats people. So I don't know, like this, maybe I'm sure that maybe they are a real couple. I don't know anything about them, but I just was wondering, like, why are we seeing them? Like, why did this start showing up in our feed all of a sudden? Why are we seeing these cooking videos with this Chinese man who's married this African woman? And I feel like, is it to try and rehabilitate the image of the Chinese government, to show that they are more open to diversity? Although a lot of expats who have lived in China kind of gave a different look on that. I mean, there are still people who want to live in China, but let's be honest, let's be real. China's not a place you can go and protest the government. Like an expat cannot go to China and criticize the government. That's you can't do that. Like that's just not allowed. Even if you're a person in the country, you don't get to speak out against the communist government. That's just not how it is. Same with Saudi Arabia. Like there was a man, actually, and it's interesting how they've tried to rehabilitate their image. Like he went on TV in Lebanon and he started saying things like that he didn't believe in God, and like something like some sexual things, which he could get away saying on Lebanese TV. But when he went back to Saudi, like he was in prison for it. Okay. Like you can't just say whatever you want in certain countries. You can't just criticize the government. Like that's just not allowed. Like and I'm not saying the US is perfect. Like we've had our issues too, but let's be real. Like China and Saudi Arabia and Iran, they're not exactly governments that are pro freedom of speech against like criticizing government officials. So I just question, like, okay, I don't have any concrete evidence that this channel, but just knowing before that there were people talking about this, like people that said that previous countryside cooking channel about a Chinese woman who turned out to be a city dweller, by the way, like she didn't really live in the countryside. They just had her go out there. She was basically like a hired influencer. And China hires influencers from abroad too to come visit. So yeah, I think that's the thing. Like it's been a well-known open secret that countries do hire influencers to rehabilitate their image. So I don't really know much about that channel, but just knowing like that most people in the countryside wouldn't have access to YouTube because China has blocked YouTube because it's a Western, media website. They've blocked it. So why would this couple have access to YouTube to upload to YouTube? And how would they have the ability to like film these videos where they're both in the shot and it looks like, even if it kind of like some of the videos kind of look like they're lower grade camera, you can tell by looking at the way that it's filmed and the angles that it's like a film crew that's filming them. Okay. They're not just setting this up on a tripod. Like they definitely have people helping them. And I haven't really found the answer to that yet, but I think like, yeah, I'm sure, I mean, maybe they really are a real couple. I know that there are interracial couples in China. It's just a lot of people but people have talked about like a lot of people that had like an African or an African American parent said they weren't treated as well as like, let's say somebody was white and Chinese, like they were treated a little bit better than like, so there is racism towards African people or people of African descent. And I wonder if this YouTube channel is trying to rehabilitate China's government's image towards that, or just like the mindset of people in China, like towards, I mean, I don't have the answers. I'm just curious, like why this channel all of a sudden like showed up in my recommendations. And I could tell like the way that the videos were filmed, that they had people helping them. They had some sort of crew helping them. It wasn't something they just set up on a tripod and were filming themselves. You could tell. And then also the big thing is that YouTube's blocked in China. Regular people in the Chinese countryside, even if they wanted to start a YouTube channel about living in the Chinese countryside, they wouldn't be able to do that because YouTube's blocked to them. Second thing, most people living in the countryside, unless they own like a business and they have some sort of wealth, a lot of people in the countryside do not have money. The reason the cities have such larger populations is because people go to live in the cities to try and find employment so they can make more money. And even if you do have like a government job, a bureaucratic job, it's not unknown for like 9 adults to live in a 2-bedroom apartment, like 9 adults sharing a 2-bedroom apartment. That's not unknown in China. So you do have an economic elite in China. But when we start seeing videos like showing how beautiful, like, yes, the Chinese countryside is so beautiful and the people are amazing. But if we see a video where it's like this couple and like it looks like they have this idyllic life, and you could tell like parts of it did look scripted because she's like, they live in the countryside, but all of a sudden he's going to town to buy his wife jewelry, and it looked like it was a different town than where like, because they live way out in the countryside, and all of a sudden he's in town, like a city town, buying her jewelry. I'm just like, it's a little suspect. I do think that this particular couple, even though their videos are very beautiful, I suspect it's some sort of Chinese PR. That's what I suspect, I think. And yeah, a lot of governments hire influencers or people to create PR for them, because now influencers are the new advertising agencies, because most young people aren't turning on the network news or even watching, must-see TV. Like, people stream things nowadays. Anyway, those are just my thoughts about all this. I don't have the answers. Like, I've been trying to track that down, but just knowing that last time that these beautiful edited videos of a woman living in the countryside in China turned out to be something that was kind of a, communist backed party channel, and the woman eventually stopped posting. And you could tell, and it was actually vetted, like a lot of people vetted it, that she had a production crew helping her upload those videos and film them too. So yeah, so I guess like this, I kind of went in a roundabout way, but this is what I'm trying to get back to. There is a point, okay? And this is my point. Even in Western countries, like when you see people with like the high-tech camera, some of them might have money, but some of them might just have like some sort of a sponsorship where they were given that camera as a freebie, and they have some sort of like sponsorship. So they have all these brand deals where they're able to afford those technological devices. So why are you, as a regular person, not making content just because your camera's not amazing? I'm just saying, like, I want to let those people control the discussion because they want. I think that's a big thing. I will think the big push towards making YouTube look more like a TV production is because there are certain people that want to control the conversation. And I don't think that they get to control the conversation at the end of the day. Those are my thoughts. Thanks for watching. I am full of fire today in my opinions.